Every town, no matter how small, has its local legends, but not all legends are unique. Most are essentially the same as told in every other town, but some are so original that it makes the story seem true. One of such legends is from a small town in Kansas. It's a town known only for folklore and dark legends, telling of witches, werewolves, shapeshifters, and visits by the devil himself. They say the town is home to so much evil the Pope won't fly over it, and that the closer to it people get, the more evil they become. But these are just elements of a much greater legend that within this town is a functioning gateway to hell. 666 is an area code in Kansas. Within it is a small town called Stull. It's always been a small place, with little about its early days known. Stull was established in the 19th century. Rumor tells of it having a sister town not far away. It was also known as a place of evil, with witches and secret societies conducting occult rituals there. But after one ritual went badly, the town was flooded, and still today its ruins are below a lake. We don't know if any of that is true, but we do know of several tragedies to take place within Stull. A farmer once set his field alight to clear it for new crops, but his son ran into the field and was burned alive. Some believe the boy was possessed by demons that escaped from the local graveyard. Stull is most well known for the legend that a gateway to hell is hidden in its cemetery. According to that legend, the gateway was opened by witchcraft and the death of a baby. In the 1800s, witches would gather in the cemetery to perform rituals and show their love for Satan. It got to the point where locals would kill anyone even suspected of being a witch, hanging them on a large oak tree in the cemetery and throwing their remains into unmarked graves. The witches would gather inside the cemetery church and summon demons to possess locals, like the little boy who ran into fire. On one dark night, the witches summoned the devil inside the church to worship him. The devil chose one of them as his new wife, and she soon fell pregnant, but the child was born deformed, with one eye, horns, and covered in fur like a wolf. Townsfolk soon learned of the deformed baby of Satan, killing it and the mother. Their corpses were buried under a large tombstone that read "Witch." With the loss of his child, Satan cursed Stull with a gateway to hell, from which ghosts, demons, and other evil forces would emerge to terrorize locals. Although the gateway is only open once per year, on Halloween night, another deformed child was also said by some to be the devil's son. Others say he was a monster who emerged from the gateway. It was the late 19th century and the boy was covered in thick fur. He had unnaturally long and sharp teeth, so he was kept in the basement where he was chained to the wall and thrown scraps of meat to feed on. But one day the boy bit off his own hands to escape his chains. He then ran into the town and began killing locals. He survived on human meat for 11 months and came to be known as the Werewolf of Stull. But a hunter eventually killed him and he was buried beside his brother. It's said if you stand above either of their graves, the ghost of a witch appears before you screaming, until you step away from the grave, at which point she will disappear. But it's the ruined church that sees the most mysterious activity. One rumor tells that despite it not having a roof, no raindrop will fall within its walls, as even Mother Nature knows to fear the devil. It was in the church that in 1850 the mayor of Stull was stabbed to death by a stable worker. He was unable to explain why he killed the mayor, like some kind of force took hold of him. Since the night of his death, the crucifix within the church was known to move by itself. Every day at midnight, the cross spins upside down and flies through the air to hover above the spot he was stabbed. But those who want to see that for themselves are warned against entering the church, as anyone who does is at risk of being cursed for the rest of their lives. Stull is said to contain one of the 7 gates of hell that, according to urban legend, are spread across America. But the most terrible and horrific thing about Stull is that, like everywhere else in Kansas, it's horrifically dull. So anyways, there are said to be 7 gates of hell. Pass through all 7 in the right order and you will be transported to hell. Anyone who passes through them will be taken to the underworld, but only 5 of the gates are known to exist, as they say that by the time you reach the 5th gate your sanity will be completely lost, making it almost impossible to find the final 2. Some think the gateway in Stull is the final, but most versions of the urban legends hold that all gates are in a small wooded area of Pennsylvania. They say that long ago a massive insane asylum stood in that wooded area. Many of America's most deranged and violent people were kept at the asylum until the night it caught fire. Most died from the smoke, with remaining survivors being massacred by locals who feared the mentally ill. The fire destroyed the asylum, and those who fled the building were still trapped in by 7 large gates. Those gates are now said to be the 7 gates of hell, transformed by fire and death that night. Historical records fail to mention any asylum ever existing in the area, but some believe all documents mentioning it were destroyed to cover up the accident and death of every single inmate. There are different stories behind the gate's origin, but all legends tell that the first gate can only be seen during the day, while others can only be seen at night. So if you're ever in Helen, Pennsylvania or Stull, Kansas, and you want to meet the devil to sell him your soul, or some Girl Scout cookies, look for the gates.